All right, let's dive into a pretty fascinating idea today. What if the world around us isn't just a random collection of, well, stuff? What if it's more like a rich tapestry of symbols, a kind of language just waiting for us to learn how to read it? This one question is really the key to everything we're going to talk about. Is the universe just this silent backdrop for our lives, or is it actively communicating something, hinting at where it came from and what it's all for? The book we're exploring argues pretty powerfully that it's definitely the second one. The author uses this brilliant analogy to help us wrap our heads around this. Think about it. If the only music you ever heard was Bach, you wouldn't recognize his unique style. You'd just think, yep, that's what music sounds like. The argument is that we're kind of in the same boat. We are so completely immersed in creation that we become deaf to the creator's signature style, the one that's woven into literally everything. So, how do we start recognizing that signature style? How do we tune our ears back in? Well, the book suggests the very first step is to just be aware of the lens, the worldview that we're already looking through. The book really contrasts two fundamental ways of seeing the world. On the one hand, there's what it calls the pagan or modern view. The world is just silent, meaningless stuff. Any meaning it has is just what we decide to project onto it. But on the other hand, there's this alternative view, a world that is jam packed with meaning from the get go, a creation that is constantly reflecting the one who made it. And this whole idea has a name. It's called natural revelation. It basically means everything has a symbolic dimension. A rock isn't just a rock, it's an icon of strength, of stability. A tree isn't just a plant, it's a symbol of life and growth. In this view, every single part of creation is like a mirror, reflecting a different little piece of the divine. Okay, so if the world is speaking, if it's a language, does it have a grammar? Is there some kind of consistent pattern to all this meaning? The author argues absolutely yes. There's a cosmic blueprint for how we interact with the world. I mean, it makes sense, right? You wouldn't build a house by just randomly nailing boards together. You need a blueprint, a plan. The book suggests that building a culture, or even just living a meaningful life, is no different. We need some kind of divine pattern to help us transform the raw materials of the world into something ordered, something beautiful. And here it is. This is the proposed blueprint, a 6-step pattern for all human work. Let's walk through it real quick. It starts with just taking hold of creation, receiving what it offers. Then you give thanks. You acknowledge where it came from. Only then do you start to restructure it, to work with it. After that, you distribute it. You evaluate what you've made, and finally, you enjoy it. Think about baking bread. You take the grain, give thanks, transform it into dough, share the loaf, judge if it's good, and then you get to enjoy it. This pattern, the author says, is the basic rhythm of all meaningful work. So this leads to the really big question. What's the point of all this? What is humanity's role in this whole symbolic world? Well, this is humanity's grand task. We're supposed to be agents of transformation. Our purpose is to take the raw materials of nature and, using that divine blueprint, shape them into culture. We're meant to turn a wild forest into an ordered garden, a quarry of stone into a soaring cathedral, or just simple silence into beautiful music. And to accomplish this pretty huge task, humanity is given 3 key roles. As a king, we're called to bring order and beauty to the world, like a wise ruler tending their kingdom. As a priest, our job is to guard sacred boundaries, to distinguish what's holy from what's common, creating these spaces of meaning. And as a prophet, we're meant to apply divine wisdom to our work, speaking truth into everything we do. Okay, now let's zone all the way out. How does this blueprint, this pattern of transformation, play out not just in one small action, but across the entire sweep of cosmic history? So in this view, the whole cosmos is structured like a temple, with these 5 concentric zones of holiness. At the very center, the most holy place is the direct presence of God. Then, as you move outward, each layer gets a little less, well, holy, from the heavens to the garden sanctuary to Eden and finally out to the wider world. The entire purpose of history, then, is this grand project for humanity, to expand the holiness of the center outwards and to transform the whole world into a sacred space. And when you have this framework, the Bible stops being just a collection of disconnected stories. It suddenly becomes one single epic story of transformation, a coherent narrative with a clear beginning, a dramatic middle, and a glorious end. The story begins, as we see here, in a garden. You can think of it as a world of raw, undeveloped nature. It's beautiful, sure, but it's filled with pure, untapped potential. And it ends in a holy city, which is the ultimate expression of perfected culture. So the entire arc of history, from start to finish, is this grand project transforming the raw potential of the garden into the glorious finished structure of the city. So, what's the ultimate takeaway from all of this? How does this actually change the way we see the world? This entire framework is really an invitation to, well, to re enchant our world, to see that nothing is random. From the smallest act of creativity all the way up to the grand sweep of history, it suggests everything is part of one single meaningful story, a journey from that raw garden to the perfected city, all of it guided by a divine blueprint. And that leaves us with a final, pretty provocative question to chew on. What would change if, instead of just seeing random chaos, we started looking for the architect's blueprint behind everything? What really changes when we start to see the world through new eyes?